Today we're going to be looking at the nodes and how we can optimize our workflow just by using one single add-on. So if you guys already know how to use the Node Wrangler add-on, then this first part may not be any help to you. So we need to go to the node editor. Just change that over to the node editor. And we're going to be using the Node Wrangler add-on. So I went to File, then User Preferences. So yeah, to enable the Node Wrangler add-on, all you need to do is go to Add-ons, type in Node, and if you don't see it, you might have only one of these selected, which might be official, but it's actually in the community supported level. If you want to see these both of these, you just hold Shift and left click and you'll see them both. We just need to check this add-on, and if we just open this up, we can see the node, and then if we press this button here where it says Show Hotkey List, again this is all the hotkeys. If you read what it does, most of these you probably won't use, but a lot of them you will use to help sort of speed up your workflow. So hopefully I covered that. The next thing I showed you guys was going to themes here, and there's a whole bunch of colors you can change for your themes. We just want to go to node editor, this one, and then that noodle curving, you just increase or decrease this to get that curve on the nodes. So yeah, again, I really apologize about that, guys. Yeah, make sure you save user settings as well, just to keep your settings and you don't have to keep doing that. So as always, we need to change this to the scene tab. Then we can check use nodes. You'll see these two nodes pop up here. Also make sure you check backdrop. So now we've got the Node Wrangler add-on enabled, what we can do, instead of Shift A and then add in, go to output and add a viewer, instead of doing that, what we can do, if we hold Control, Shift and then left click on any node, it'll add a viewer node, which we can see here. Just grab these, and that'll work. Say for example we've got multiple nodes in the scene, you just press Control, Shift and left click. It will preview whatever you want to see. Let's change this node so we can actually work on something. This is the render layer, but for example, if we wanted to change this to the movie clip node, just press Shift S. If you look up here, it says switch type to. Normally when you press Shift A, it just adds in a single node. But whatever node you've got selected, if we press Shift S, we can then change it. So I'm going to change this to a movie clip. This is another common thing I do. Let's go ahead and open up the movie clip. Another time-saving thing is to add some bookmarks. Say for example you've got a folder full of assets, whether that's textures for your models or videos for your VFX. You can always add a bookmark, which I've done here. So all you need to do is find which folder that you want to use, which for example is this here. I already have it, so let's just get rid of it. So since we're in the folder, if we just press the plus button, it'll add the new bookmark here for us. I mean, it doesn't matter for the example what video I'm going to use, it's just to kind of show you how to use these nodes and how we can quickly speed up our workflow. So let's Shift A, I'm going to add in let's go mix, plug this in. Now if you want to disconnect these strings at any time, if you hold Control and then left click, see how it draws a line and disconnects them? So it's another quick way how to connect them and disconnect if you want to. Any of these shortcuts, again, you can always check out by going to the user preferences. I'll also make some graphics on the Facebook group, so if you guys want to check them out as well, you can do that. So if I'm going too fast, they'll all be there. You can go back and check them out. Another quick thing, if I press Control and spacebar, it brings up the Node Wrangler menu, so you can just check out some of these shortcuts and menus as well. But let's say we want to connect this up. Again, we press we hold Control, Shift and left click. Now if we want to connect this up to the composite node, what we can do is something called the lazy connect. If we hold Control, then right click on any node, it brings up this kind of icon here, or this kind of tool. If we connect it to this one, it just connects it in a lazy way. Now obviously you'd think, why don't we just left click and drag it? Sometimes when you're zoomed out and you've got a whole bunch of nodes and you try and drag one of these points and it just doesn't work, you can then instead just Control, right click and then just drag it to a node and it connects. What you should be wary about though is, like when you change the preview for the viewer node, if we press Control, Shift and left click, we can just change this instantly. But if we wanted to like lazy connect, we just use this one for example. I control, right click. See what happens when we try and connect this. It takes the next available feed and plugs it into the next available slot, which is not what we want. So you have to kind of be careful when you want to use that. If you want, all you have to do is just press control, left click, just delete the connection, control right click, and just connect it up. Let's connect this back up. So again, press control, right click, and then connect it up if you want to. If you want to delete something, you press X, but then it gets rid of the connections. We don't want that. So I'm going to press Control Z to sort of undo that. If we select the node and hold Control, then press X, it deletes the node but keeps the strings in, and that kind of helps rather than you needing to replug these back in. It just saves a little bit of time as well. Another thing we can do, if you see these nodes here, sometimes you might be mixing and trying different nodes and unplugging stuff. Now we have a whole bunch of nodes we don't need. If we hold Alt and then press X, we can actually delete unused nodes. Another thing I kind of wanted to show you was the fact that you could rename the labels. So I'm just going to go to Filter, add in any node. I'm just going to add in a blur. Say for example we need a few different blurs. I'm going to press, and this is a kind of awkward shortcut. If we hold Control and spacebar, we can see which one we need. Modify labels. So it's Shift, Alt, and L. So hold Shift, Alt, and L. Say for example this blur would have been for the face. We can then press OK. If we wanted to duplicate this, we could actually rename it again. Another thing I wanted to mention was when you have a node like this, let's just delete this one, sorry I should have mentioned. Say for example we changed a whole bunch of things on this, and then we wanted to duplicate this blur node for something else, but we didn't want all these. Normally what I used to do is, which was stupid, I used to Shift A and add in a whole new blur node, it's just ridiculous. All you need to do is duplicate the node and then press backspace, and it will just reset this node to the default. So that again saves a little bit of time. Rather than adding a whole new node, just duplicate it, then press backspace, and it will reset the node. Another thing we can do, if we hold Shift and left click and draw a line, which is different from the Control and left click by the way. So Control left click disconnects it. If you hold Shift and left click and draw a line, we add this reroute node, which essentially is just a point where we can feed off or move these around if we need to, tidy things up or reroute something to something else. I don't really use these unless it's to keep things tidy, but again you might need to use this for whatever reason. It's entirely up to you. Again, yeah, there's a whole bunch of tools that come with this Node Wrangler add-on, and you know the guys who made this are amazing because it saved me a whole bunch of time. Hopefully it saves you a whole bunch of time. You'll need to check out the shortcuts. Again, Control spacebar will sort of help a little bit, or you can go to File, User Preferences, and check out the whole list. If I go to Shift A, Color, Mix, I'm just going to drop this in here, and I need to Shift A, add in an image. I'll go to Textures. Again, make sure you add a bookmark for your textures, and if you need to search for it, you can search for it here. I'm going to add in a scan lines. We kind of did this in a previous tutorial, but I didn't explain how to sort of rescale or resize or even make this work in a seamless way. But I'm going to show you now if you kind of want to see that. Or if you've got any other kind of seamless textures, I'll show you how to use that as well. So normally we add a texture like this. We Shift A, add in an image node, probably connect that up. If you see this, that obviously means that this texture here is smaller than the video, so we need to fix that. Shift A, go to Distort, add in a scale node, and then you probably just change this to the render size. Oh, and by the way, make sure that the render size here is the same as the movie clip, which is the biggest file. Then we're just telling this image to be the same size. So now when we wanted to scale these lines up, maybe we wanted to make them bigger, we just Shift D, duplicate this, and then we want to reset this node, so press backspace. And then obviously we don't need to worry about the X because the X is that direction. Change this back to 1. Let's say we wanted to scale the lines up, make these lines bigger. So let's just scale this up. That works okay. In fact, let's before I do anything else, I maybe should change this blend type to make these work. For the blend type for this, a variety of different blend modes will work. You could probably use multiply, overlay, soft light. So depending on which one you want to use or what kind of effect you're going for, but I'm going to use soft light, I think. Doesn't look too bad. But yeah, let's say we wanted to scale these lines down, so we go in the opposite direction. It doesn't really work. It should be scaled, or it's a seamless texture, so it should be sort of repeating, but it doesn't. So we can fix that. Let's just set this back to 1. So we can fix that by utilizing the material node. If we shift A, go to input, then the texture, sorry, not material, the texture node. The texture node. You guys might have seen this before. We've used it for the gradient, if you guys remember that one. So if you've seen this node before and you might have used it, then you know what's next. But if you don't, we need to sort of add this texture into it, which is pretty simple. Let's go down here and change this to the material tab, or the texture sort of tab. Then we're not using a 3D object, we're actually using the world properties. Click new, and then just check use nodes, and you'll see these nodes are right here. You can name this if you want to. If you've got more than one, or if you create more than one, then you'll need to rename this. Now we don't need this texture because it's a simple square pattern, so let's delete that. Or in fact, we can actually press Shift S to switch it. I'm going to switch this to an image. And since we've already loaded up the image, we can just select this icon here, change it to scan lines, and then that's it. Go ahead and change this back to the node, to the scene tab. And then we need to use the sort of set this up. So click this box, choose the scan line, and we don't really see anything until we actually plug it in. So let's grab this, and if you notice, for some reason the value is first on this one. Normally the value or anything else, usually the color is first on every node, but on this one it's on the bottom. So just make sure you drag this bottom here, plug this in, and it'll be pretty much the same thing. Maybe it'll scale it up a little bit. No, it looks the same. If it does scale it up a little bit or move it up slightly, that's okay. It's not changing it completely. So now for this one, if we want to change the scale, for some reason it's in the opposite direction. If we want to make this bigger, we need to scale this down. Just go down. See the lines get bigger, which is fine. We could do that before. What we wanted to do is to repeat the pattern, which now if we press this and we go in the positive, we can see it repeats it, which is a very big help. Rather than creating whole new textures, we can repeat patterns that are seamless. In fact, let's go ahead and delete these unused nodes by pressing Alt X. Yes, there we go. So now we've got this. If we wanted to move it up and down, sort of make it jump up and down in a sort of glitchy kind of way, we can animate these values, this offset value. So we don't need to worry about the X or the Z, because X is this way and Z would be sort of towards and behind. It doesn't work in this sort of 2D motion anyway, so we only need to worry about the Y. So we need to set a keyframe, and what we can do, normally when you set a keyframe for a kind of any value, you just hover over and then press I. Now for most things that will work, but for this you won't be able to do that. What you need to do is either press I while hovered over this offset value here directly, or I'm just going to Control Z, just go back. Or you can actually right click while hovered over Y and then just choose insert single keyframe, and it'll just only add a keyframe for this one rather than all three of them. Let's just say you press I here to add a keyframe, and this is on frame 0 by the way. You want to go to the end frame and then just again add a keyframe. So set a keyframe on the first frame, set a keyframe on the end frame, and then what we're going to do is use the graph editor to sort of move this around and make it jump. So you don't need to set any values here. We're going to do this in a minute. So let's change the, or let's split this window and then change this to the graph editor. And we need to make sure that we select this node because that's the one we set the keyframe for. And if we just open this up, we can see you might have just the X or just the Y, or you might have all three of them. It doesn't make a difference. If you just want to select the ones that you don't want, and then you can go ahead and press, well, delete, just delete them. So we want to move this on the Y. And what we can do, if we press N while hovered over in this screen here, we can change this from F curve to modifiers. So just like in normal 3D object, we add a modifier for it. We can do the same thing for these curves. So for this first one, I'm going to use noise, and this is what we see. Your noise might be a lot more sharp, and if it is, don't worry about it, we're going to change it. I'm just going to explain what these are as well. So the first thing we see is scale. Now you might think that sort of equates to how sharp these lines are, but it doesn't. It's strength. So we just increase this. This is what your graph might look like. And if it is, what's going to happen is these lines are just going to jump up and down pretty sharp and pretty fast. If you want to lower that down, the lines are going to jump a little bit. They're not going to jump so far. So setting these values will kind of determine how these lines are going to look. And there's no preview. You can't really see how it looks until you've rendered it out. There is a way you can do it, I guess, if you just sort of connect this up to the composite node, render out a small resolution file of and see how it looks, just these scan lines, and then if you're happy with it, you can go ahead and apply it to the movie clip in post, or just go ahead and render it out again. It's entirely up to you. So yeah, for these lines, make sure you select the node that you want to change the curves for. If we scroll right in, we can kind of see how this works. You see this baseline here, this is where these lines are going to kind of start off, and as the movie plays through, the lines are going to go up, then they're going to go down, up, down, like so. So that, again, that's for the strength. If you want to make them go crazy and go very high and very low, it's entirely up to you. The scale is, if we zoom out, if you can kind of see how the length of this curve or this noise, if we decrease the scale, it makes it more sharp and more fast bounces. If we increase this scale, it sort of smooths out into a wave. So these will sort of jump up and down in a slower manner. So this is kind of the time. And if you hover over it, it does say scaling in time of the noise. So kind of makes sense after you read it. The offset is the offset. If you wanted to offset the noise, we don't need to. The phase, if you read it here, is essentially a random value. So we have this on a lot of different tools. So if we change the phase, it'll just change the position, not really changing the overall shape, it's just changing the position of everything. The depth is like the fine detail. If we increase this, you can kind of see the fine detail if you need that too. So it's trial and error with this. I would render it out a few times to see how it looks, to the motion, and once you understand how these curves work, you can kind of get an understanding on how it's going to look. But yeah, hopefully that kind of makes sense. I can do a better tutorial on curves and the graph editor, but hopefully that kind of makes sense. Another thing we can do is restrict this curve. So let's just close this down for a second. Add a new modifier, which is a limits. And again, we don't need to worry about the X and the Y since we're not moving it on the X and the Y, we're moving it on the Y, sorry, the X. Don't worry about the X. We do want to worry about the Y. So we have the minimum Y and the maximum Y. Now, as I mentioned before, this baseline here, imagine this is where it starts. Once the video plays through, it's going to go up and down past this baseline. So it's going to go up, down, up, down. If you didn't want it to go down, say for example, you want it to cut it off at a certain point, we just press minimum. And now what's going to happen, it's only going to go up and then back to that same position. It's going to go up even higher, then down, and then back to that same position. If you wanted to sort of give this a minimum amount, let's increase this. So it will go down a little bit, but then it'll stop. It won't go too far. These are more sort of refinement tools that you can use, I guess, if you want to get more of a specific look. Let's say, for example, we have them both active. Just restrict these a bit. So now, as you can see, it's going to jump up, go down, jump up, stay at that same level, go down a bit, go up a bit, go completely down. So if that kind of makes sense. You don't want to use these, the limits for all examples, because it will look like it's just jumping and being stupid. I don't know, I guess it all depends what kind of effect you're looking for. If there's anything you guys want to see in the next sort of live stream, be sure to put a comment below, or if you want to go to our Facebook group, again, I'll leave a link in the comments so you guys want to check that out. You can go to our Facebook group to check out information, posts. If you guys want to ask any questions, like a few guys ask questions on their work, or if you just want to show us your work, it's always great to see what you guys are making. So you guys want to check this out, or again, post your work, go ahead and check that out. But hopefully you enjoyed this. I apologize for all the mistakes. Hopefully they'll get better the next time around, and hopefully we'll see you again next time around. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.